Right, cool. So let's proceed with our exercise. Okay. So let's continue with our exercise. So if we look there, it says that we bought this furniture for 67,200 Rand. So we know in calculating depreciation on straight line, we're literally just saying 67. Let me scroll up here a bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. Sure. Let me move. 67,200. Okay. And then we are saying times our depreciation rate, which they told us is 20%, right? Okay, so 0.20. Okay, and then if we look at it before we go any further, actually we probably should have done this first. Here, from July, 1st of July to the end of the first financial year, we're saying July, August, September, October, November, December. All right, can you see that's 6 months? So here we can just write 6 over 12. Okay. And then here we know that it's from the 1st of September or the end of, or you can say 31 December 2007. So you can say from the 1st of January 2008 all the way to the end of December 2008. So that's a full year. Okay, so that we can just leave as is. Okay. So now let's go back to this thing. And now, I'm saying, guys, right now the timeline doesn't really seem important because the exercise thing is fairly simple. But you'll see along the way, depreciation can then get a bit complex. Even for me, at this stage, I will still do a timeline just so that I can see where I am, what I'm doing. Okay. So what do we get when we calculate that? What's the depreciation for 2007 for the first financial year? What do we get? Awesome. 6,720. Okay. All right. And then for B, we're saying the same thing. Remember, it's straight line. So 67,200 times the 20% depreciation rate. All right. And this time we're not apportioning because it's the whole year. What do we get? 13,440. Awesome stuff. Okay. So now we've calculated our depreciation. Now we can start to record our depreciation. Okay. So this is what I advise. First, do your timeline, calculate your depreciation for your respective assets, then go into actually recording the stuff. If you try to record and at the same time you're doing calculations, it can throw you off. All right. Right. So first things first, we know we need to record depreciation, and we're going to start in the journals. So we're going to start with 2017. Did I hit the record button? Yes, thank goodness. Okay, sweet. Okay. Just getting rid of these useless columns. Okay, so first things first, we know that depreciation is an expense account. So what are we going to do with depreciation? We're going to debit depreciation. And then here, we're going to credit accumulated depreciation. Okay, this is obviously going to affect your profit and loss or your income statement. So here, okay, and this is going to affect your balance sheet. So, okay. And the amount that we had for the first was 6,726. 720. That was for 2007. Sorry, we're doing exercise 3.1. Okay. All right. Awesome stuff. Right. Then accumulated depreciation. We do the same amount. 6,720. Okay. And then here under narration, you're just going to put depreciation adjustment. Okay. Anything that is just making me aware that this is a depreciation calculation that we're doing here. Just explaining whatever is going on. Okay. And obviously we don't have a date. Well, we do have a date, but we don't have the doc number. So this is obviously 31, 12, 20. Cool. Then remember we were also asked to do the closing transfer. So now there's a bit of a recap for learning unit 9 for your 1A. Why is it? Isn't it 720? Is now what we calculate? What we calculate? That's the actual cost. Remember we did the calculation for depreciation for up until, that's what we were doing with the timelines. So here, can you see next to A? Right here. Right. Cool. Then here with closing off, let me just write in this data as well. What are we debiting? What are we crediting in order to close off this account? Remember, depreciation is getting closed off because it's an expense. But accumulated depreciation is not getting closed off because it's a negative asset. Remember, it's only income and expenses that get closed off at year end. So we leave accumulated depreciation alone. Okay? How do we close off depreciation? To what are we closing it off to? Come, guys, you're writing. No. And guys, it's sad when people go, because Unit 9 is my favorite. So remember, sales returns gets closed off to your sales. Sales gets closed off to the trading account. Cost of sales gets closed off to the trading account. Then all the other income and expenses get closed off to your profit and loss. Okay. So depreciation would then also get closed off to your profit and loss account. So when closing off, remember, depreciation is an expense. So we're at year end and we've calculated our depreciation to be 6,720, right? So we know that it has a debit balance of 6,720. So to close it off, we know that we need to do an equal and opposite entry. All right? So what we need to do with depreciation is to credit depreciation. Okay? And shorthand is just for me. You guys must write these things out before. Okay? Then we know that it's getting closed off to the profit and loss. So then here we're going to debit the profit and loss account. Okay? Okay, so here again we're just throwing in the 6,720, and here 6,720. Your narration is going to be closing transfer. I'm gonna just quickly. Okay, there we go. Everybody happy so far? So that's how we record it in the journals. Okay, we might as well just do 2008 as well. See, can you see how easy it is? Once you've calculated your depreciation, it's now just about recording things in the right places. So again, here we have depreciation. Okay, and here we have accumulated depreciation. And this time it was for 13,000, how much? 440, I think it was. Okay. And again, here just saying adjustment. Okay, then here we're closing it off. Again, we're saying profit and loss, we're debiting that amount. And here we're saying depreciation. Okay, and here our narration will be closing transfer. Okay, this we are saying 13,440 and 13,440. I'm sure you guys are really making use of the videos now in preparation for your exam, right? It's helping, right? I'm sure now it's like, that's what he meant. Or at least I hope so. At least I hope so. Okay. I was saying that in as much as I know a lot of you would have wanted to have written already, like, whilst it was still fresh. I think the good part is that moving forward, I think you guys, just in general in life, you guys will definitely like have a very strong accounting. Because a lot of the time we just do things to pass. But now obviously with all the time that's elapsed, you've been put in a position where you have to know and understand what it is you're actually doing. So yeah, that's the one advantage of it all. But I understand where you're coming from, and I think I probably would have also wanted the same thing. So I felt for you guys when obviously the decisions that were made were made. But that said, let's continue over here. So now we're going to the general ledger. And can you see, this is also why I like to start in the journals. Because now doing the general ledger is a lot easier. Because what we debited in the general journal is what we're going to debit in the general ledger. What we credited in the general ledger is exactly what we're going to credit in the, the general journal is what we're going to credit in the general ledger. Okay. So here, we know that we debited depreciation, right? If we look in the general journal, we debited depreciation. So here again, we're going to debit it, but we're going to debit it with the contra account, which was accumulated depreciation. Okay. Which was accumulated, and there it was 6,720. Okay. And if I'm to just complete maybe the double entry, so maybe let me go and finish this off first. This is obviously for 2007. Here we credited accumulated depreciation. So if you can see, we credited accumulated depreciation. So here, when we're dealing with accumulated depreciation, we must also credit. And we're going to put here dip for depreciation, and that was for the 6,720. Okay. I do not know what is in the air, but when I am here, I get, even yesterday, I was like super itchy. I don't know what is going on. But anyway, right. So here again, remember, we also had to close off depreciation, right? So to close it off, and here I think it's a whole lot easier because you're like, how do I get rid of this 6,720? And literally, you know that you just have to make an equal and opposite entry. Okay, so it's a lot easier to see visually. So here again, we said that's to the profit and loss. And that was for 6,720. Done. Okay, we didn't need to do the general ledger for the profit and loss, but then we also would have done that there as well. Okay, all right. So that was for 2007. Okay, now we need to also record 2008. We're literally doing the exact same thing. Say here, I'm just going to put a space in between. Accumulated dip. And that time that was 13,440. Okay. And now we understand exactly what's happening here. So I'm just going to enter it in once. Accumulated profit and loss account. 13,440. Okay, then obviously we need to also do depreciation for 2008, or record it in your accumulated depreciation. Okay, that was then 13,440. Okay, now when we got to the end of 2007, right? Typically, right? We know we don't close this off, right? So let me just put that up. So here we would have just drawn a line and then put 6,720. Okay. Right? So let me actually do that. It's just hard to kind of actually show those lines because obviously I already have lines there. So 6,720. Then now, when we're doing this at the end of 2008, we then need to add these two together. Okay? So if you add those two together, I think you get 20,000 something. $160. Okay. So now when if we were to then calculate our accumulated depreciation thus far, it would be this 20,160. Okay. Yeah. Let me leave that for now. Okay. And that is everything that we needed to do for 3.1. Okay. So now what I want us to quickly do is then just to do 3.2, 3.3 as well. And then that will be it for today. It's the same exercise pretty much. Okay. So there under the required, it says prepare the depreciation and accumulated depreciation accounts in the general ledger of Sterling Jewels, CC, for the financial years ending 31 August 2008 and 2009. Show the depreciation adjustments and closing transfers in the general journal of Sterling Jewels, CC, 31 August 2008 and 2009. Okay, so first things first. Okay, let's read what's going on there. Sterling Jewels, CC, a registered VAT vendor, bought a non-passenger vehicle for 288,144 Rand including VAT, on 31 May 2008. It was decided to depreciate all non-current assets at 33 and 1/3% per annum according to the diminishing balance method. Okay, right. So let's draw a timeline now. When did we buy this? It was 31 May. May is 5. And that is 8. And the financial year end this time is August. So 31 August. And then the next financial or next period we're interested in ends on the 8th, but this time 2009. Okay. So what is the time frame here? Okay. And what is the time frame there for B? Okay, cool. Right. So yeah, can you see this is 31 May, right? May is already done. We're already at the end of it. So we can just simply say June, July, and then August. Whole month of August there. So it's yeah, in this 31 August. Okay. So that's 3 months. 100%. So this is 3 over 12. Okay, so when calculating, we're then saying, okay, but remember, they told us 288,144 of a VAT inclusive price. So before we go any further, we actually need to get a VAT exclusive price. Okay, so then we simply say 288,144. How do we get the VAT exclusive? Somebody tell me. 100 divided by 115. Thank you very much, sir. And what do you get? 56. So that's what we are working with then. Okay, so 250, 560. Then we say times 3 over 12, because as was mentioned, we have 3 over 12 months. Then times your depreciation rate. We have a depreciation rate? Yes, we do. That 33 and 1/3. Okay. Now, very important, remember, we're on the reducing balance method. Okay. But this is for, can you see we bought this on the 5th of, oh, sorry, on the 31st of May. So we haven't had it prior to this period. Does it make sense? We haven't had it prior to this period. So there's no accumulated depreciation. Does it make sense? Okay. So what then is our depreciation for A? or for the first period. 880. Cool. So there's our depreciation for A. Now, remember we're on the reducing balance method, and on the reducing balance method, we calculate depreciation on the carrying value. Okay. So now, for this B, we did actually have depreciation. So we now need to calculate the carrying value. Okay. So how do we do that? We say cost price minus your accumulated depreciation will then give you your carrying value. And then your carrying value times your depreciation rate will give you your depreciation for that period. So we know that our cost was 250 exclusive of that, 560. Okay. We know that our accumulated depreciation up until that point was now this 20,880. All right, that we calculated in the previous period. So you say minus that 20,880. And then what do we get? What's our carrying value? 229,080. Thank you very much. Now we have our carrying value. Now we can calculate our depreciation. 229, 680 times, remember this is for a full year, so we can just go straight in terms of 0.333333. And then what is our depreciation? 26,000, how much? Or 76? 560. Cool. Now that we've calculated our depreciation, we're home and dry. We need to just replicate what we did in the first exercise, okay, in terms of what we debited there, what we credited there. Okay. All right. So let's go to the general journal. Should be, yep, should be right. Okay. So here again, we know that we're debiting depreciation. Okay, and we know that that was for 20,880. We know that here we're crediting accumulated depreciation. And that was for 20,880. Then we know that, so here we're saying the investment. Then we know that we need to close off this depreciation. So we're then saying profit and loss gets debited. And here we know that depreciation that's credited. 20, 20, and then here we're just saying okay. So in 2009 we're doing the exact same thing. So dip. And this was for 76,560. You're raising your hand. Okay, and then here we're closing it off. Profit and loss is debited. We're closing. Everybody happy? Okay, and then literally all we then do is going now to the general ledger, and we're doing exactly the same thing as well there. Depreciation, we know we debited it in the general journal. So again, we're debiting it here, but now just with the contra account. So accum depreciation. Okay, and that was for 20,880. Okay, then we know that we closed this off, and it was to the profit and loss, right? And we're done there for 2008. We might as well just do 2009 now. Accumulated depreciation. That was for 76,560. And profit and loss account. Done there. Now we're just going to the accumulated depreciation. And here we're just saying, okay, depreciation. That was for 2008. Then here, 2080. And here, dip. And now for 2009, here we had 76,560. Then you add those two together, you should get 1991 something. 91, how much? It's 97. Oh, yeah, yeah. My bad. Sorry. 440. Okay. 97, 440. Now, can you see? If they were to ask us to do year 3, calculate depreciation on year 3. All right, let me just do that in green quickly. Okay, this is then be 31, 8, and this would then be 10. Full year. Now we already have our accumulated depreciation for this prior period, or for how long we've had the asset for. All right, we just come down to the accumulated depreciation account in the general ledger, and we look for this 97,440 that we have here. That's the total of all the depreciation that we've had on the asset. Okay. All right. Awesome stuff. Are there any questions, thoughts, concerns? People who are ready to drop out. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Ish, I must behave myself. I'm being recorded here.